gift, you have to know that death always sits on your shoulder. Death always sits on your shoulder. And so when you can be comfortable every day with this is the only moment that at any moment I might pass out of this veil and into the next veil, we have to do our own work. We were trained to dig our own graves. We had to learn how to walk backwards in the dark. We had to learn how to feel from our belly and from our guts and not just look with our eyes. We had to learn to feel the invisible world and to court the allies, which are those sort of non-physical presences which are always present with us.
Hello, mystics, and welcome to the Occult Unveiled. My name is Ashley Ryan. In today's episode, our guest is Kristen Eykel. She's a highly skilled practitioner, trained in both Northern and Southern American shamanism. She's a Reiki Master, a Master Hypnotherapist, and a Kundalini Yogi. We have an exciting bonus in today's episode. We are incredibly fortunate to have Kristen guide us through a Reiki practice. If you have never experienced Reiki before, this is an opportunity for all of our listeners and viewers to participate and experience this powerful healing energy. So get ready to embark on a journey of self-discovery, healing, and spiritual expansion as we delve into the sacred practice. Welcome. I'm so excited to have you. And one of the first things that I do when I open up my episode is that I do a tarot reading. Would you be interested?
Sure. Bring it on, baby.
Right. So for this, I'd like you to close your eyes and think of a situation in your life that you need some clarity on. We're going to look at what you know, what you don't know, and the current outcome of the situation.
Okay.
Please let me know when you have that in your mind's eye.
I'm ready.
Okay. So the first thing is what you know. The Knight of Cups. Now, this shows creativity. It shows romance. It's the emotional aspect moving forward. So whatever you're thinking of, there's a lot of good, positive emotion around it. So you know that already. That's great. What you don't know. The Empress reverse. So this is a major arcana card. So when you're coming in with all of this loving emotion, it's making sure that our energy is centered in the nurturing mother. When it's upside down like this, it's kind of indicating that maybe you're being drained and you're not filling up yourself after you do this work. So replenish ourselves. And the outcome is the Nine of Wands. So I love this card because it shows me how close you are to completion. It also shows me that the insecurity that you have, when we look at this man, he's like, oh no, my stick isn't as good as all these other sticks. Your stick is wonderful. Know that the project that you're creating in your life, whether it's a romance or whether it's a book, whatever, it's very good. And you can release all of the fears and the tension that you have about this project because you're so close to the end.
Oh, that's beautiful, Goddess. Thank you. And I got to tell you, my stick is that good. So thank you for the shout
It is.
out. Yeah, it's really that good.
I'm so glad that resonated with you.
Thank you.
So you do so much. And today we're focusing on Reiki. Now, a lot of people have heard about Reiki. They know that it's like some kind of energy moving. Can you explain to me what that is?
Thank you for asking that question. And I just want to thank all of your team and your tribe that's listening in. Thank you for spending your time with us today. Also, thank you for inviting me into your homes, into your lives, because this moment is valuable. This moment is precious. And I promise you that if you hook into your energy with what Ashley is sharing and what we're sharing today, it can quite literally open up and transform something. So I just want to thank you in advance for all of that. And as we begin, I also like to call in all of our teams, all of our guides, mentors, masters, angelic beings of the highest light, because we are doing this work in alignment for the awakening and the highest, greatest good of all on this planet. So I just want to thank you all. Wahe Guru, all that good stuff. So thank you. So interestingly, there's a lot of stuff people can do their homework. Please read about the history of Reiki. It is fascinating. It goes back to Japan at the beginning of the 1900s. I began my Reiki practice in 1991 when I started doing all of my other, shamanism training and all of my other personal practice as a way for self-healing. It was not meant to do this for people in the world. I had a big media career. This was my personal career. This was my personal well-being and healing. But what I've noticed is that as there's now more Reiki practitioners, more Reiki masters teaching, more people receiving, more people also holding a higher energetic imprint, the Reiki, the download, the energy is changing. So I don't look at Reiki as like, it's this little thing I do with my hands, which is what a lot of people look at. Reiki doesn't live in your hands any more than smell lives in your nose or sound lives in your ears. It's a perception. Okay. So you perceive color, you perceive wavelengths that we translate as sound, you perceive heart vibes that you perceive as love or compassion. So the Reiki energy isn't flowing out of my hands, even though you may feel it that way. Reiki is a consciousness. So let that sit for a second. Reiki is a consciousness. So when we tune in and we tap into that energetic field, it's like we have to, the same in Kundalini yoga and in shamanism, we have to put ourselves, our ego over here to the side and allow the teacher, the guru, the bigger energy to travel through us. And we just ask and intend that it go to the highest, greatest good of all, which is a little different than the old fashioned Reiki, which is like, I have a cup full of energy, let me give to you. That can become very limiting and very depleting. It can also kind of formulate this like egoic sense of like, I'm so fabulous. And I am so fabulous, but it's not Reiki. It's because I love flowing this energy, because when we, the vessel, and you know this, when we, the vessel, channel that energy, open up to allow that flow, whether it's love or compassion or joy or wisdom or whatever it is, we get it first. And then we have plenty to share with others.
Yes. And what I like about what you said is that you're pulling from the highest, because we as human beings, we only have a certain amount of energy every day. And if you're only giving away the energy within your own vessel, well, you're not going to have a good time.
That's exactly right. And so this is why I always, with my community, so I always remind them every night before you go to bed, imagine that you're sort of unzipping your day, like unzip your human life suit, let it go to the side, thank it, bless it, release it, and let go of anything known or unknown that no longer serves you. I don't care what it is, just let it go. And then when you go to sleep that night, open up, do your prayers, your gratitude, your meditation, whatever it is, invite in your team, your healing essence to work with you while you sleep, while your ego's out of the way, and you can really let in that bigger energetic. And then in the morning, tap in before you open your eyes, stay in the golden sparkles, just feel yourself kind of uplifting, put your hands on your body, thank your vehicle, thank yourself for having this energy to move forward. As you said, bringing in more energy for that specific day so that you can have more than you had the day before.
Wow, that's so beautiful. And you've come, like your life is so vibrant and so rich. Like you were working in television as a supermodel. So how did this like very egocentric world, how did you get from there to Reiki, which is so selfless?
Well, it's exactly what you just said, Goddess. So thank you for that. So I'm going to date myself here. So I was a model in the 1980s. So when I say sex, drugs, and rock and roll, I am not kidding. We didn't have filters. We didn't have any of that stuff. If you didn't walk in the door and look like $1 million, you wouldn't get paid $1 million. You had
stressful.
You had to be immaculate all the time. You had to walk in carrying that energy with you. All right. So I had to learn about carrying energy through that practice very young. Of course, it's highly imbalanced. Talk about an eating disorder, talk about all sorts of stuff. So I had to learn. So yoga actually was my first teacher. I had to learn how to inhabit this body because my body was my commodity. It wasn't my vessel. It wasn't my vehicle. I understand. I had to like squish her in certain ways and manipulate her. I didn't have any ownership of her. So it was all that teaching of the esoteric world, of the spiritual practice, of all of these beautiful ideas that helped me to kind of shed a lot of that fear of living in the body, a lot of that denial, that self-hatred, all of that, that stuff we as women are trained to do a lot of times, no matter who you are, where you live. And I had to really start to learn to live in the vehicle. And that's why my spiritual training was my sort of like one track of my train, and my media was the other track. And I was kind of straddling the two.
That's so interesting. So you really got to both foot in both worlds as you're moving forward. What was your first introduction to Reiki? Was there a master that you met, or how did you find out about it? You didn't have the internet, really.
Nope, didn't have the internet. And I swear to you, I have no idea how it started. I was doing every cockamamie training. I was channeling with the dolphins and swimming with the aliens and bringing in the star people. I mean, I did everything you could possibly imagine. But the Reiki just felt like this beautiful way to just give self-healing. I've always been a little cautious about allopathic Western medicine.
Allopathic medicine is a conventional Western medical approach that focuses on treatment through pharmaceuticals and surgery.
Whether that's pharmaceuticals or, unnecessary procedures and things like that. I mean, thank goodness we have it for when you're hit by a bus. Thank God. But in general, our body is a self-healing machine. She is designed to replicate and to heal, and far greater than any of us give it credit for. We think like, oh yeah, I can do up to a certain point. But I am telling you, if we asked you how to build a pancreas, you'd have no idea how to do it. But your body does. And so it knows how to heal. And so most of the time when we get out of our conscious mind and all of the stuff that we tell ourselves, because your issues are in your tissues, your body does listen to you. So when you say hurtful things, your body responds.
Yes.
So when you start to channel this energy through and you just start to open up like a waterfall, then you have a different inner experience, which then starts to relate to a different outer experience.
I absolutely resonate with that. So one of the things that people tell me all the time, they're like, how old are you? You look so young. And I'm like, well, I'm 31. And they're like, well, what do you do? What's your skin routine? I'm like, prayer, magic. It's not about what I put on my skin. It's about what comes out of me. And when I can pour out love, when I can pour out the energies of the goddess, like it resonates. There's a sparkle, and no amount of makeup will ever be able to replicate that.
100% true. I do make my own skincare, so I'm just saying.
Very cool.
Having lived in the beauty world for so long with all the chemicals and all the stuff, it just became like sort of a yummy way to, again, just love on myself. Aromatherapy, essential oils, guys, they really can be magic, and you can just infuse it with your love energy. You don't have to be a Reiki master. Just really put whatever touches your body, whatever you breathe, whatever you drink, just imbue it with life force, imbue it with starlight, moonlight, sunlight, just imbue it with love, imbue it with something. But really have that active principle, because what you're saying, Ashley, about that sort of inner intention shining outwards, goddess, that's the key.
Yeah, that's it. And it's so many of us have locked away that inner power, especially women and non-binary people, because we're very fearful of how we're judged and perceived. And that's been a big part of my journey, is pulling away and saying, your judgment does not matter. Your judgment does not phase my light. It does not dim it.
Well, thank you for saying that, because what we have in our society, and this is not new to this century, okay? This is millennia we're talking about, okay? We have been afraid of being ostracized from the tribe, because when we are ostracized from the tribe, we'll be cast out and we may sort of die in the wilderness. So it's a real ingrained cultural experience. Also, we've all been trained for millennia. You're not good enough. You are not part of the divine. So we've been cleaved from the heart of the divine. So in this beautiful aspect, and I love what you're saying about kind of this integration with the new, and I'd love to look at more than just non-binary. I'd like to look at wholeness, because all of us are male and female. All of us are this integrated energy when we choose to be, however we wish to express it, whether that's in a more feminine moment, in a more masculine moment. Hopefully we will all be in a balanced moment. And I think that's what this new generation, and certainly this new conversation, is eliciting, is not needing to cleave ourselves in half and only identify with one aspect, one culture, one language, one neighborhood, one anything.
Unity.
And start to become this, right? This is a planet that is moving towards greater and greater unity. And I know it looks fearful, guys. I know it. I know it looks like crazy town out there. Focus on what works. That is what you will amplify. The moment you dive into that fear and the separation, that is what you amplify. So it's up to you what you choose.
Yes. And our whole world is really focused on division. And that's so unfortunate. I see it every day in social media, where everyone is being torn apart. And internally, I'm like, no, we're supposed to be going together. let's back up and try again.
Thank you.
Yeah. I want to talk about your training with the shamans. What was that like? That must have been so powerful. And what did you learn?
And shamanism in, let's say, like the Southwestern American tribes versus the Canadian tribes versus Central American versus South American, there's many similarities among the indigenous tribes. And it would be also similarities about any form of shamanism, whether that's in the Pacific Islands, whether that's in the African nations, or whether that's even in Mongolia. I spent time in Mongolia where the national religion is shamanism, right? So shamanism, basically, the principle of it is the shaman is the person who's the bridge between the physical and the non-physical world. So here we are talking about the divisions again, right? The binary and the non-binary, that sense of separation. So the shaman is the one who holds that both spaces. So we're in the sort of the Yaqui language, the tonal and the nahual, which is everything which is known, which is like that much, and then everything which is unknown, which is everything else. And being comfortable in being in the physical, but knowing that most of what we know, we don't even know.
Correct.
And so holding space for that, what we're trained in the shamanism practice that I was trained, and this isn't the feel good sort of weekend trip to Costa Rica. That's a whole other podcast, baby. And we'll talk about that later. But really sitting in that space where going into that world, you have to know that death always sits on your shoulder. Death always sits on your shoulder. And so when you can be comfortable every day with this is the only moment that at any moment I might pass out of this veil and into the next veil, we have to do our own work. We were trained to dig our own graves. We had to learn how to walk backwards in the dark. We had to learn how to feel from our belly and from our guts and not just look with our eyes. We had to learn to feel the invisible world and to court the allies, which are those sort of non-physical presences which are always present with us.
Right.
When doing this work, one of the challenges and one of the reasons that I really did step back from it, even though I find there's a lot of benefit with the medicinal journeys, I really do want to highlight the medicinal journeys are like a sledgehammer to pop open your conscious mind. Now, in this new paradigm, we don't really need that the same way we did 100, 200, 300, 400 years ago, because we have a greater access to the other energies. We're sort of moving into that new dimension. But in the good old bad old days, we were shut down. We were locked like a fortress. And so you had to have a sledgehammer on the side of the head to show you that something else was possible. Well, we don't really need that anymore. We have that availability now, which is one of the benefits. And when you do that level of work, and you kind of like tap into that level of kind of opening up into that world, one of the things that starts to happen is when you're sort of, I guess the best way I can say it, it's kind of like your neon light open for business sign comes on in the astral world.
Stuff comes to you.
Yeah. And so I found myself sort of casting out demons all night long. So it was exhausting.
Yikes.
I used to do a lot of spiritual releasement.
Spiritual releasement refers to releasing emotional burdens, negative energies, or attachments, allowing for inner healing, growth, and a sense of liberation. Ashley, I'm really excited about the Reiki session we're about to do.
So like really clear energies that we attach. And spiritual attachment happens all the time. It's not always like dark and negative. Sometimes it's just like a nice little old lady who thinks you look like her granddaughter and she just wants to hang out with you for a while. So it's not always like negative or dark. But in shamanism, as well as in Reiki, we learn how to really kind of strip that away so that we're no longer attracting those lower level energies that want to suck our light. So I was like, you know what? I don't need to operate at that level. I'm not looking at, 2D world. I'm really looking at the world beyond. So I'm not going to operate at that level. So I don't.
I understand.
Yeah,
I get it.
There's a whole thing and you can do that as long as you want, rock on. But that is not my journey. My journey is to operate at the highest dimension possible and to bring that into form.
Of course. And so just for our listeners, let's describe medicinal journeys. There's lots of different kinds, but I think the most popular or most well-known right now is ayahuasca.
Yeah. Again, ayahuasca is the vine of death. And people
I did not know that.
Yeah, it's the vine of death. So again, when I talk about in the shamanism world, we are trained to court our death. Before I went down to do my initiation in the Amazon in 1992, okay, nobody could even spell ayahuasca, much less understand what it was. We did 6 months of personal work in the United States before we flew. We fasted, we sweat our prayers, we did all of our practice before we went to go meet our death. We went to the jungle prepared to psychically die.
Wow. And that's the way you're supposed to do it. That's the practice. It's not a fun like weekend trip. This is a very serious,
Yeah.
very important kind of practice. Wow.
Absolutely. Because in that moment, you are allowing an aspect of who you thought you were to die. This isn't just like, I'm going to fake it till I make it and I'm going to say all the right words and wear the t-shirt and do the sparkly thing and have a juice fast. That's great. Please do that. That's not going to get you out of where you are if you aren't to the core committed to changing everything in your life. This is going from that old paradigm into the new paradigm. And guys, your stuff just can't get through the veil.
No, and it won't. You're going to get stuck.
Yeah. And you're going to get maybe a little bit shredded because and this is why we see, when you're talking about that sort of, stuff we see right now, those who are clawing on for dear life not to move into the next dimension, that's the anger, that's the fear, that's the separation, that's the hatred. They're trying to hold on to the old paradigm, but it's like literally shredding in their claws. Those of us who are really holding open the space, right? The invitation to the new thing, it is a relinquishment. It's a vulnerability. It's almost like clearing the space and being in that non-resistance, because the paradigm is changing, and you can beg and scream and claw and jump up and down, but you're just going to exhaust yourself. We're all going to the light, whether you want to come with us or not.
I understand. And I think I want to clarify some things for our listeners today. So what Kristen is talking about is consciousness is the modality of moving through planes. Your physical body's not going anywhere. You're going to stay here on Earth, but we're going to elevate. So let's think of a light spectrum. Light moves at different waves, the highest being purple, one of the slower ones being red, where we find anger, hate, greed, lower vibrational consciousness. As we move up through love, through joy, we reach higher aspects of consciousness, reaching the pinnacle, well, at least here on earth, is Christ consciousness, not Jesus necessarily, although he was a Christ. Christ means being christened or being purified. So when we can let go of those lower principle natures, we can elevate up to that place. And it's hard. It's because we are so human. We want to be a part of the world and we want to have things, which is totally natural. But as a spiritual being, when we elevate and loosen up, that's how we can relinquish those lower principles for the higher ones.
I want to piggyback on what you just so beautifully said there, Goddess, which is that, a lot of people, we come into this life with a lot of contracts, a lot of unfinished business, vows of poverty, vows of chastity. We feel these weird guilt about being a healer, showing up for who we were because of all that sort of genetic lineage or that historical lineage of unsafety, right? But as we start to, as Ashley was saying, kind of relinquish that, it's not that you have to give up your stuff, okay? You don't have to live in a box under a bridge.
No.
You can have a beautiful existence because there is so much abundance. The limitation is here, not in here, right? And so really relinquishing that like good enoughness and all that stuff, that's what keeps us locked and stuck. And as Ashley was saying, kind of opening up that consciousness, it's the intention to be in that level of freedom, in that level of play, in that level of divine wow. That is the creative principle. That's the energy that moves more forward. That's that health vitality. That's why Ashley glows. That's why y'all are tuning in right now, right?
And that's why you glow too.
Thank you, Goddess.
That's why you're a teacher.
That's right.
This has been fascinating. And I'm so glad we got to clean up and clarify for our listeners, what is this 5D? What is the next plane of existence? But I want to talk to you about the Reiki session that you're going to lead us through today. Our wonderful producers, Deborah, Michael, and our audio producer, Bill, are here with us and will be participating, as well as our viewers, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So I want to thank you for this opportunity because it's really cool. So one of the things I'd like everyone to imagine before we jump in, and I'll reiterate this as we go, but I want you to imagine, no matter if you're listening to it live in our time or live in your time, it's always live. Life is always live, right? Like it's never a replay. And so when you're in your present now, I would like you to witness or imagine all of the other lights, all of the other beings around the planet in consciousness, non-consciousness, physicality, non-physicality, who are also activating on this light spectrum, because we're going to give you the opportunity to really sense, feel, and absorb that connectivity. Because guys, it's the expansion of the community that's going to move the needle. It's more than 1 + 1. It's more than just the 2 of us, 3 of us stepping together. I want you to look at this as exponential growing opportunity, because that's what we're going to tap into today with your permission.
Wonderful. And if the producers would please turn on their cameras for this session.
Hello.
Hello, everybody.
All right, guys. So quick question. I know that some of you may have done energy work in the past, but if there's anything specifically you want to work on or you want to receive, I'm just going to ask you to hold that in mind. Okay, I know, Deborah, you've got some healing for your foot you want to work on, but also for people at home, if there's anything specifically you want to kind of channel this energy towards, please give yourself that opportunity as well.
Okay, so for everyone who's listening, except those who were driving cars, please close your eyes.
Absolutely. Yeah, be in a comfortable, receptive state. You can recline, you can close your eyes, you can put an eye pillow on, you can turn the lights down, but just know that your body is safe. Wherever you are, it's really important that as you breathe in, you just really start to feel, I am safe. And maybe that feels like you're kind of grounding your seat, your legs, your back a little bit deeper and a little bit deeper down, and sort of imagine or sense that you are connecting into the embrace of Mother Earth. And whether that's you're lying on the ground, you're lying in your bed, you're floating in the universe, just allow yourself to be really cradled right now as you inhale deeply. And just feel how safe and secure your body is. And while you close your eyes, I would just like you to imagine that you're going to kind of roll it upwards and inwards, focusing on the pituitary gland, which is that master gland right there between the two hemispheres of your brain. Start to draw your energy and your awareness up here. That's going to help to start to activate your inner awareness. Some people call it the third eye, but I'd like you to look at that as kind of turning on the on button, pressing the easy button, giving yourself this download of well-being. Whenever you focus inwards to there, you stop the outwards awareness. We're going to arrest the outwards awareness. We're going to start to tap into the inner awareness. And as you do, I'd like you to sense or imagine that there's a beautiful color, a beautiful wave, a beautiful breath, a beautiful tingle or glow, that as you inhale, put your awareness at the tip of your nostrils and just breathe that color, that sensation, that wisdom in to coat there at the third eye, to surround your brain, and to sort of download into your whole body. Like you're doing this beautiful sort of wave shape in through the nose, over the top of your head, and cascading down the back of your body. And as we begin this practice, I would like to tap into each and every one of you who are present in this moment, asking in your team, your divine God, Goddess, all that is, the mentors, masters, loved ones, and angelic beings. I want to thank your tribe, your team, your community who brought you to this moment and to every moment to activate within you this beautiful healing light, like turning on a beautiful light switch, like this beautiful light just begins to flow within you. I'm going to ask your team to work in harmony with my team, that I may be a clear and perfect channel for the highest, greatest good of all. And so it is. And as you inhale deeply, I'd like you to witness and experience that you are inhaling with 17 billion organisms right now. You are inhaling with the plants, with the animals, with the wisdom keepers. You are inhaling with all the tribes of beings all over the planet. And you are activating each and every molecule, each and every cell with this beautiful, loving light of this healing. I'd like you to experience perhaps a ripple, a tingle, a glow. You may even notice a vibration in the palms of your hands, the backs of your hands, the soles of your feet, the top of your head, the belly, or the heart. Should you choose to, feel free to place your hands on your body anywhere that's comfortable. And I would like you to sense, as I am activating that beautiful awareness, to ask that your hands just become perceptive of this beautiful energetic flow, that it's beginning to clear and cleanse anything that no longer serves you, known or unknown. Perhaps sending this energy to any part that has been tricky or sticky or a little uncomfortable. Just breathe into that and just ask, like clear, cool water flowing through your hands, through your whole body, to release out through the soles of your feet that which no longer serves. When you wash your hands, you don't know what you're washing. You just choose to wash them under the water. I would like you to experience that you are washing yourself in this beautiful light of well-being. Just choose it. All you have to do is say yes. All you have to do is intend and ask, and just ask that it be released now, known or unknown, through all time and space, according to the highest, greatest good of all, and even better than we could ask for. Thank you so much. And just ask perhaps now that this beautiful light, vision this beautiful like glow, this sparkly effervescent glow over the top of your head, like you're in this jet stream of this beautiful flowing download of light. I'm just going to ask and intend that you feel at the top of your head this beautiful opening, as if I were brushing the top of your head with a feather. And as you allow that to open, your awareness travels deeper and deeper and deeper into the earth, and your inner awareness travels higher and higher, brighter and brighter, shinier and shinier, letting you ascend this beautiful spiraling staircase, like going through the barrel of a kaleidoscope. Every color of the infinite universe flowing over you, releasing you, relaxing you, energizing you, and letting you go faster and faster, brighter and brighter, shinier and shinier, until before you, in front of you, you witness this glittering, shimmering veil of light. It's like every light of the universe, the sun, the infinite sun, the sun at the center of the world, the divine light source is pouring through, differentiating in these colors, and you're getting closer and closer and closer to that light. And as you come very close to it, it's like your face is being kissed in the mist of a waterfall. And you breathe in that decision, so that as you pass through that veil of light, you become immersed in this beautiful, sparkly essence of love, this sense of safety, this sense of home. And it's like your team, your guides, your loved ones are wrapping you in a cashmere blanket of acceptance. Welcome home. Bring yourself into that loving light. Thank yourself. You may perceive, you may witness, you may know, you may understand. You might even have a visual image. Allow yourself to perceive in any way that you do, and feel that you are inviting in this healing now. Like you are standing in this brilliant sunlight. It is fresh, healing, invigorating, and inspiring. And perhaps a member of your council, your guidance, or your team comes before you now. And as they come before you, you may have a sensation of knowing, you may have a sensation of welcome. Notice that your team, whenever your guide comes before you, they always come bearing a gift. The gift can be an object, it can be a knowing, it can be an insight, or it can be an awareness. As you allow yourself to receive this gift, what do you know? Breathe it in. Whatever it is, allow yourself to trust whatever it is. Judge not. Receive it deeply. And know how loved you are, know how seen you are, know how accepted you are, because it is true. And in this moment, as if you're in this beautiful bubble of light and you could look down at the entire earth, I ask you to witness all of the sparks of light all over the planet, like little twinkling stars. That is everyone doing their work. That is everyone shining their light. That is everyone tapping in an intention. And witness as you do that it's like a constellation around the whole planet, helping to up-level the grid of consciousness, as well as that place where you are connected. Divine being, loved one, your energy matters. Your voice matters. Every drop of light that expands in this universe now, that expands in your home, that expands in your work, that expands in your relationships, is of benefit to us all. Please know that now. As you breathe that in and allow that wisdom and that intention to fill you, I'd like you to imagine that everything that you love is being brought into you now. And again, even better than you could ask for, as if my hands are on your shoulders, or perhaps one on the third eye, one on your heart. And just feel how blessed you are. You are here on purpose, with purpose, and for purpose. And so it is. As we come into this place, I would like to thank all of your teams, mentors, masters, loved ones, and angelic beings of the highest light. Thank you for working with all of us now. And I ask and intend that you allow this work to continue downloading within you, whatever it is. So when you go to bed tonight and you allow yourself to open and receive, you can connect in again with that light, and you can ask yourself to be a vessel of learning, a vessel of healing, and an experience of being in this divine grace. Thank you for working together with my team at the highest, greatest good of all, and for allowing me to hold space as your teacher. It is finished in beauty. It is finished in beauty. It is finished in beauty. And so it is. Sat Nam. Inhale deeply. And feel as if this download is pouring into your body now, every muscle, every fiber, every cell, pushing through you deeper and deeper and deeper down, all the way through your body back into the earth, expanding this beautiful reservoir in the very center of Mother Earth, this sparkly, healing pool. Send some of that beautiful, loving light into that pool. Ooh, I'm getting tingles all over. Y'all are doing great. Let that pool expand like a beautiful, expanding galaxy of stars in the center of Earth. Ask and intend that she use this energy any way that she needs to those who are still sleeping, to those who are in pain, to those who are in fear, that they may awaken into this grace. And then allow that beautiful energy to spiral all the way back up, that beautiful grounded energy to pour up through your physical body, travel out of the top of your head like a beautiful fountain, a snow globe, 360 around you, back to the earth, channeling back up to you in this toroidal field, spiraling all the way around and down you, back up through the center channel and out around you, clearing and cleansing. And just feel that you're in this beautiful, sparkly snow globe of this golden, effervescent light, like champagne bubbles. And take a few breaths there and let yourself center. Let yourself feel how good this feels now, even better than you could have asked for. Thank yourself for being this open, beautiful vessel for this light. And thank you for allowing me to hold space. And so it is.
And so it is.
And so it is. Take a second to come back in the body. This can be good stuff. Whew, be kind to yourself.
Woo.
Yeah.
Wow, that was very moving. Wow.
Oh, Goddess, how was your journey? Thank you. That's the real deal. You cannot fake the emotion, right? Y'all, we can fake all sorts of stuff. What Ashley is feeling now, what many of you are feeling now, you cannot fake that. When you feel that, you know you're touching something real. Thank you, dearest. What was your journey? Please tell me.
So the symbol in which I saw on my third eye was a spiral, like the golden spiral, and it was teal. And I've been working through a lot of repressed anger, and so it was all on my left side, on my feminine side. And I felt the as we were pulling the energy through, it was filling up this like it's kind of silly. It looks like a video game where like a stone has been removed, the emerald has been removed, and it's just concave. Yeah. And that got all filled up, which was really beautiful. And then the bottom of my lower intestines, I was able to feel like this nasty kind of like goo get pushed out the bottoms of the feet. It was very moving. When we went through the veil, which I saw before you even said, I was like, oh, I'm about to go through like this waterfall of sparkles of Squivorky crystals. Like, how cool. And then on the other side, my goddess was there holding a shungite crystal and reminded me that I'm always protected and that I don't need to be fearful. So thank you so much for that.
Oh my gosh, I love it. This is it. I mean, that was what, a few minutes. We can tap in very quickly. And guys, this is just a practice, not a perfect, right? It's a practice. So as we allow ourselves to tap in and to flow in and to open up and definitely use the energy of others to kind of springboard us, we can get higher and higher, brighter and brighter, so much quicker, so much easier. And we can clear karma. We can clear lifetimes of shame. We can clear that energy of this rage, which many, many people are holding. And Goddess, every drop that we release just allows there to be more light. So thank you for that.
Thank you. So I know that the producers also took part in this. Deborah, do you want to start? I know you're healing right now, so let's talk about your experience.
Yeah, so I had a foot injury, and there's pain associated with it. And for me, this was just so comforting because it started out looking up at the sky and seeing all these stars, and what it was is reminiscent to me of like the Van Gogh Starry Night, where the colors were kind of orbs around it, and then they started kind of exploding in color like fireworks to me, and dripping down, and it became like water that created this bed of vibrantly colored flowers that I just then lay down in. And the smell of just delicate rose and jasmine and just beautiful sense that just I felt elevated, comforted. I felt like throughout the entire thing, listening to the images that you provided, but also just this looking up in wonder at the sky lying on this bed of flowers, which was just so comforting and relaxing and made my injury feel as though it had dissipated in kind of ways. That's pretty much everything that I was feeling. Just so light and wonderful and comforted. Yeah.
That is amazing, Deborah. I love that. And I love that you also had that olfactory experience. Many people have a lot of different clair senses, and smell can be one of them. Sometimes your
Yeah.
guides will come in with a beautiful smell or awareness. That is gorgeous. So just go back to that beautiful healing bed of flowers again and again. And I bet you're going to feel so much more relief, so much more quicker.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you for sharing with us, Deborah. And now your husband, Michael, would you like to share your experience?
Yeah, it was, it's interesting. I mean, so much of my life doing what I do professionally is I control things. As a director, you do that. I have a vision, and I find it manifest in a lot of ways. And when I was doing this just now, I felt the overtness of myself sort of outside somewhere, which was really nice. Like a phone rang behind me. And now typically, if I was at work and a phone rang behind me, I was concentrating, I was ready for something, it would annoy the shit out of me. And I just observed it. It was like, okay, there's the phone. It's over there. I'm here. That's existing. And it just was like a real, it was a real relief. So I wasn't getting visions. I was just sort of in this, lack of a better word, like a cocoon, and things which would typically trigger me, because covert anger is not my issue. Overt anger tends to be more my issue. And it didn't bother me. And I've been experienced, because I kind of have some ongoing spinal things, so pain. And the pain was not like an invading army to me. It was like, it was pain there, but it was like, okay. So it was pretty profound.
Michael, I love that, because that really indicates that powerful sense of the non-attachment. Like, that's a divine experience of the non-attachment, of just observing that is there. I am still here. And what you said is really powerful, especially for people who deal with chronic pain. We can get so immersed in the pain that the pain starts to become who I know myself to be. But as we allow ourselves to get into that non-attachment, we can witness the pain as an experience that we are going through, rather than a sense of the identity. And that can be physical pain, that could be emotional, psychological pain. When we can observe that is occurring without being hooked into it, that space, that is where the healing resides. So I love that you shared that. That is really, really powerful, Michael. Thank you for that.
And last but certainly not least, everyone's favorite audio producer, Bill.
Thank you, Ashley. I really think that the most profound moment for me is when you were speaking about breathing and connecting it to basically all the other organisms in the world, whether it's plants or animals or other people in the world. And you had said about it's sort of regardless of what you're dealing with, I think there's an aloneness when you're dealing with problems, when you're dealing with things that you have on your mind or whatever. It feels like it's uniquely yours to deal with. And I think that moment of saying that, you're part of this entire thing, and there's so many billions of other organisms that are existing with you, it sort of takes away that aloneness. It makes you feel like you're part of a community, and the community feeling is really what makes you feel great. And the other thing is when, what I was thinking of is when I go lay down tonight to go to sleep, I want to be able to go back into that place.
That's right. I love that. Bill, thank you for saying that. That is a really powerful expression of what is true. We do become isolated. As I said before, we feel that we are sort of separated from everything. Here I am in my own little personal experience, which feels like whatever it feels like. But what you just said is true. We are the earth herself is an organism. We're like a cell of the organism. And so when we remember that, we can kind of be in that embrace. It's really powerful that you are absolutely not alone. You are so beloved. You are not only beloved within the kingdom of the earth, but you are also beloved in the invisible world, the Nahual, that part that we don't really see and don't really pay attention to because we don't see it with our outer eyes. But when you feel it with that inner heart, that is powerful. So Bill, I hope and intend that when you go to bed tonight and you lie down in that space and you open yourself up, that you just feel this incredible download of how loved you are and how much your team is celebrating you. And each and every one of you who feel alone, please know that that is purely an illusion.
Wow, this was so powerful and so moving. I thank you so much again, Kristen, for sharing this with us.
It is my absolute honor, dearest. You have no idea. I literally talk about this 24/7. I always ask my community, what would you sleep in your car for? What is so important for you that you would sleep in your car, that you would do it no matter what, that you would talk about it, that you would offer it, that you would devote your life to it? Then do that. And this work, this practice, this thing that we're sharing right now, and all these different beautiful dimensions and facets, this is what I have decided to devote my life to, as I know so many of you have as well. So thank you for inviting me into this conversation.
Yes. And it has been, it's so amazing. You've done so much with your life, and you can feel the energy when you're leading. And, I think that our listeners today are going to take away something so powerful with them. And where can they find you online? Where can they work with you if they want to?
Oh, I would be honored, Goddess. My website, KristenEykel.com. On there, I have a men's group. I work with people one-on-one. I do very deep hypnotherapy and Reiki energy combined sessions where I lead people. So I kind of lead sort of like what we just did, but we do that for an hour where we go into all sort of alternate timelines. We go into alternate dimensions. It might be your quote unquote past life, which is a nonlinear thing. So let's not get caught up in the past. Sometimes we go into a future experience where we start to really tap into what is beckoning you and pulling you forward. So I really start to work with people in all kinds of these different places. I do work with releasing trauma and with releasing anxiety, especially as women.
Amazing.
We carry a lot of stuff in our lower chakras that we really have to kind of do a lot of imbalance with. When women are trying to bring children forth, you cannot bring forth a baby in a dirty vessel. Okay. So anyone that's got weirdness going on with their lower vessel, you know what I'm talking about? You guys know it. Anger, fear, rage, sadness, betrayal, whatever that is, gotta clean that up. Okay. Because else you're never going to bring some babies through. And we really want high vibe tribe to come on into this planet. So I do that work. I do that virtually, online, all over the world, in all sorts of timelines. And it'd be a privilege to work with you at any time.
Wonderful. Thank you so much again. I'm getting choked. I was just like so emotional.
Yeah, clearly. Come on, let's amplify it. Let's bring it up. Every one of us that kind of shine brighter, like it's like washing off the tarnish. You just sparkle more. Like it's not that we're not sparkling. It's just that there's more to see. So let's do that.
Right. We're just polishing the silver.
What are we waiting for? Let's go. It's only this life.
This has been so magical, and I can say that with the truest sense of the word. Thank you so much, Kristen, and to all of our listeners. Until next time, mystics, stay magical. The Occult Unveiled is produced by F Street Productions and M is for Magic. Our executive producers are Ashley Ryan, Michael A. Simon, and Scott Kushner. Our show is produced by Deborah Simon. Our audio producer is Bill Schultz. Our talent booker is Perry Turcott. Laura Kaufman is our coordinator. Thank you for listening, and for more information on any of the topics you heard today, plus really cool links and ways to learn about Ashley, Pythian, and all of our guests, go to theoccultunveiled.com website. The Occult Unveiled, copyright 2023.